5 female emotional gaps that give you a brutal advantage. According to Machiavelli, men should avoid women who are too beautiful because they're dangerous. In his book, The Prince, he writes, "It is much safer to be beautiful in a female than in a male, for this quality is much more dangerous when it is found in a woman." So why exactly does he say this? Well, beautiful women, according to him, are often looked at as objects of desire. And so if a woman makes herself appear vulnerable, she will attract these types of men who only want her for her beauty. What's important to note here is that this doesn't mean all women are manipulative, but rather there are some women out there who know how to use their beauty to get what they want. Men, in turn, can fall victim to this trap. However, if you know what emotional gaps to look out for, you'll be able to spot them from miles away. Note 1. The flirtatious gap. Machiavelli warns about women who flirt with everyone, which means they don't really care about anyone. They just want to have fun. This type of woman can lead a man down a dangerous path, as she's not looking for a genuine relationship. Instead, she just wants someone to play with. She enjoys the chase, the attention, and the validation she gets from being desired by many. And she will purposely make herself scarce to increase your desire for her. On the other hand, a woman who's truly interested in you won't flirt with others. She understands the importance of building a connection with you and will prioritize your relationship. To identify this kind of emotional gap, pay attention to whether she gives the same level of attention to others or only you. Does she laugh at all your jokes, even when they're not that funny? Is she overly touchy and friendly with you? If so, there might be an emotional gap between you both. Don't let yourself get trapped in the flirtatious gap, but instead focus on building a meaningful connection with a woman who reciprocates your feelings. No. 2. The overly sexual gap. According to Machiavelli, women who make themselves sexually available to everyone lack virtue and discretion. They are seen as easy prey and are not respected by society. These women are more concerned with satisfying their own desires than forming a meaningful relationship. They might manipulate you into doing things you don't want to do, or take advantage of you when you're not paying attention. But there is another kind of woman that you must also beware of. Although she doesn't throw herself at you, she may appear cold and distant, never letting you get close enough to her to have any kind of real intimacy, physical or emotional. The reason for this is that she has suffered trauma or abuse in the past and now finds it difficult to trust and love again. The problem with this type of woman is that even if you manage to break down her walls, she will always remain emotionally unavailable. If you find yourself in either of these situations, it's important to take a step back and evaluate the relationship. Are her intentions clear, or is she hiding something behind her sexual advances? Remember, a healthy relationship requires trust, respect, and communication. Don't let yourself get carried away by her seductive nature. Instead, focus on building a meaningful connection with someone who can reciprocate your love and affection. 3. The gap of false femininity. In the 16th century, women were expected to be submissive, obedient, and subservient to their male counterparts. However, according to Machiavelli, some women pretended to be feminine to gain an advantage over men. He states she who seems most eager to win one over usually does so by means of her feminine wiles, which are her beauty, her sweetness, her words, her ways of looking, and the like. But one should carefully guard against this last-mentioned trap, for it is a very dangerous one. Women who seem to submit readily actually wish to dominate. These women knew that by acting feminine, they could manipulate men into thinking they were weak and helpless, when in reality, they were strong and capable. They used their perceived weakness to their advantage, making men feel like heroes by helping them and gaining their trust. Once they had it, they could control them and use them for their own benefit. So what are some examples of this today? Well, many women still use their femininity to manipulate men. They might dress in a certain way or act in a particular manner to evoke a desired response from their male counterparts. They may also use their sexuality to gain power over their partners or take advantage of them in various situations. It is important to be aware of this emotional gap and not let yourself get manipulated by a woman who is only pretending to be feminine. Instead, focus on building relationships with women who are genuine and authentic. Remember, a healthy relationship requires mutual respect, trust, and equality. No, 4. The gap of indecisiveness. Machiavelli recognized that indecisiveness in women was a sign of weakness and cautioned men against choosing such partners. He believed that a woman's inability to make decisions effectively would lead to chaos and destruction within a household. Imagine getting ready to go somewhere nice with your girlfriend or wife. She looks beautiful and you're excited for a great night, but then she starts getting cold feet. She starts changing her mind about where she wants to go, what she wants to eat, and even what she wants to wear. Even after you've made plans together and she agreed. Now you're left feeling frustrated and confused, unsure of how to proceed. Or perhaps you're planning an important event and need your partner's input. After all, it's going to affect her as well. But she keeps putting off the conversation. When you finally sit down to talk, she's unable to make a decision, leaving you even more frustrated. This constant indecisiveness can be extremely frustrating for you. Plus, you're probably busy, successful, and decisive yourself, so you value those qualities in a partner. Overall, this constant push and pull can cause unnecessary stress in your life and can even damage your relationship. Therefore, it's crucial to recognize this emotional gap early on and communicate openly with your partner about it. Encourage her to express her thoughts and feelings honestly and work together to find compromises. By understanding and addressing this issue, you can create a stronger and more stable relationship in the long run. No. 5. The gap of being too nice. Being too nice is a female emotional gap that can cause problems in relationships and lead to a lack of respect from the other person. This is because when you're too nice, you can come across as weak and indecisive. Machiavelli observed that being overly accommodating is a mistake that women often make when trying to win over a man. Instead, he suggests that women should be selective in their niceness and only bestow it upon those they deem worthy. He writes, one should not suppose that a woman can be entirely good, because there is no such thing in the female sex. Hence, if you wish to avoid being altogether despised, you must not be excessively submissive or simple, as many have been who have brought ruin upon themselves and their families. By being too nice, women can end up being taken for granted and losing their value in the eyes of their partners. Men might start to expect certain things from them without appreciating or reciprocating the kindness shown. This emotional gap can also lead to a breakdown in communication and emotional intimacy. When you're too focused on pleasing the other person and making them happy, you might neglect your own needs and emotions. As a result, the relationship might suffer and eventually fall apart. So it is important to be aware of this emotional gap and strike a balance between being nice and maintaining your self-respect. Be selective in who you show your kindness to, and don't be afraid to set boundaries when necessary. By doing so, you'll not only maintain your own self-respect, but also build stronger and more meaningful relationships in the long run. So remember, brothers, these emotional gaps are not excuses to mistreat or disrespect women. Rather, they serve as reminders to be cautious and discerning when choosing a partner. Each of these gaps represents a potential pitfall in a relationship that can lead to heartache and disappointment if not addressed. By staying vigilant and aware of these emotional gaps, you can navigate the dating world with more confidence and clarity. You'll be able to form deeper connections with those who are truly compatible with you and avoid the pitfalls that can lead to disaster. So be brave, stay sharp, and remember that your happiness and well-being are in your hands.